Okay, well, the year was July 18th, 1925. The personification of the devil as a symbol of all evil assumes the living shape of the Jew. This was a quote from Adolf Hitler from his book Mein Kampf. Oh, today I am here to review for you the 5 key historic events about the Holocaust. And the first one is Auschwitz. It's located on the southern part of Poland. It's now a tourist attraction, but back then, during like in 1939 through 1944, it kind of wasn't. It was like a prison for the Jews, and basically, this housed like 1,730. Wait, no. Oh, 173,000 prisoners, and it claimed the lives of 98,888. And this is, excuse me, I don't really know that much German, but I'll try my best. But I think it's Arbeit macht frei, which means work will free you. But really, it was kind of like a lie. It wasn't really, the Jews were just working, but in general, they were just working, but they weren't really getting anything out of it. So basically, they would be starving. They would pass this gate every single day, in and out, to going from work, but every day they thought to themselves like, oh, okay, well, if I work long enough, I will obviously get free. But it was just like a tease from the Germans, because obviously Germans like really hated the Jews because of Adolf Hitler, but he had that weird mustache. So basically, they never got their freedom. This gate was just basically to always just cause pain every single time they passed by it, because in reality, you didn't accomplish anything. Well, the Jews obviously didn't. Okay, this is ghettoization. This was primarily a step to just get them all together, in which Hitler would obviously let them stay there for a couple months, it just depended, a couple months, a couple weeks. But when the time came, they would get hauled all into like one like train and just get sent off to death camps or concentration camps. The ghetto life it was really bad during the winter, because obviously once like the army came into your home, you were just supposed to take whatever you had on and then just go straight to the ghetto. But they really treated them badly with, like, they would ration their food. They would just live in filth, because basically they would live on the streets, not like really in the houses. The large cities had closed ghettos with bricks and stone walls and wooden fences, like right here, and barbed wires. Well, there's no barbed wires, but that would just define the boundaries. So this was just one little city within itself, was just filled with Jews, and it would go for miles, but it would at least go to about 5 miles, and then it would get cut off, and there'll be another small city with Jews in them. The smallest ghetto housed about 3,000 people. The largest housed 40,000. So what what this couple has is called the Star of David, also known as the Yellow Star. And in November 1938, the leader named Reinhard Heydrich recommended that Jews be, they were forced to wear these, they were called identification badges, which either you would wear it near you, on your chest or in the back or as an arm brace. Those who failed to actually wear it would actually be shot. It was a tactic for the Germans to isolate Jews from the rest of the population. It also like revoked their rights, like their citizenship, their business. They obviously lost their jobs. The kids were out of school, and they would just be within their own community of the Jews. And this is the gas chambers, where it would be filled from this very corner to like the front of the door. Well, not all the way towards the front of the door, but like it would end like around right here. And one chamber, like this one, would be filled with women and children, and another chamber would be filled with just men. They just wanted to separate women and children. They wanted the mothers to be with their child before they die. Well, that's what the Germans thought. So basically, the gas would be poured from the top, and a German on the other side of the door would just flip a switch, and obviously the gas would pour in, and it would fill the chamber with carbon monoxide, which basically like takes away your breathe. Like you can't really breathe with so much carbon monoxide. It's like if you were in your car and you just had the engine running with everything closed all around you. It's kind of basically the same thing. So in conclusion, I just hope that you guys, if you guys are asked about the Holocaust, that you guys could recall to these the five key events that I presented to you. Thank you.
Bobby, what did you think?
I liked how you started out with the quote, and you had a lot of information, and it was good information, but you seemed a little shaky with it, and it seemed like you read a lot, which kind of made me think that you didn't know the information that well, and but I thought the topic was clear and interesting, and you also kind of kept pausing a lot, which kind of made me get lost and lose some focus. But it was also well organized, and I thought it was good that you had someone else doing the slides for you, so we wouldn't get distracted with you going over there. And I like how your slides were pictures, and then you kind of explained them. And yeah, overall, I thought it was a good speech.
All right, the quote was okay as an attention device. I think, the date reference and the fact that it's from Hitler gets us started. We know generally what the subject is, and I thought you had a pretty good transition and identification of what the subject area is. Your exact purpose statement, you stated, it still seems a little broad, and it's problematic because there's not really any preview that goes on. I know you're going to tell us about these 5 things, but then you don't label what they are at the beginning of the speech. It might have made that seem a little bit more sensible. On organization, I'll tell you what, I'd agree with Bobby in the sense that there was an organizational pattern here, and there are distinct points. The problem is that I think the pattern is backwards for the first 2/3 of the speech, and then kind of odd in the last couple of things that you're talking about. You start with the concentration camp, and then you go to ghettoization, and then you go to the identification process, and it seems to me like you go the opposite direction. This is how they began the process of separating out the Jews and beginning the Holocaust. First, they had them identify, and they passed the laws that required them to wear these kinds of badges and so on and so forth. And if you didn't do that, this was required. And then, at a particular point, they began to isolate them in terms of space also, and that's when they created the ghettoization process. So there's a transition there that gets you to that next point. And finally, people were removed to the concentration camps like Auschwitz, which when you say it's a tourist attraction, I guess that's an accurate term, but that's like saying Arlington Cemetery is a tourist attraction. It's a place that people go to. But it's not like it's Disneyland. They're going there. It's an historical landmark. They're going there for the purpose. And it draws a lot of people because it is something. So I think maybe the terminology there is a little bit awkward. And then it would make sense, for instance, for the gas chambers to be talked about after you had them at Auschwitz. So it just feels like everything is sort of out of sequence here. And you're talking about the ideas very randomly. You seem really unfamiliar sometimes with what it is you're trying to say. You're stuck with that one point trying to get the number right when you're talking about Auschwitz. You need to practice. Nobody expects you to speak German on that. Arbeit macht frei is the way they say it, but you don't have to worry about that so much, but you do need to be able to tell the story, and you're struggling to get through the story, and it should feel a lot more fluent as you are going through the process. I'd agree. The visuals are pretty good. You have them shown appropriately. Nothing wrong with getting a little bit of assistance on that as it works out. You don't need a human being if you've got the program set up correctly. You can just click and push the button no matter where you happen to be. But that worked fine, so it wasn't a distraction there. It just feels like it's sort of random information, and I'm not sure that it's put together in the most coherent way, and I think that that's the thing that you need to work on a little bit more. All right, thank you.